speed development, and learning how to practice and play efficiently. We're going to start with our page packet that says speed development, and I've written some notes that talks about it, like understanding obstacles. So I'm going to read it out loud, and I'm going to kind of explain it as we go. In order to play quickly and accurately, one must have to understand certain obstacles. Number one, one's playing is constantly evolving. Therefore, you have to try to make what you play seem effortless. You, the player, have to learn to play the guitar as opposed to work the guitar. This involves playing as loose and relaxed as possible and understanding the physical mechanics of the hand and body. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of things. When you were a beginner, you'd have a hard time playing a D chord, and you probably squeezed too hard. As you evolved into an intermediate player, the D chord became easier, but then other chords became more difficult, like major 7s or 13th chords or 11th chords, etc. And you had to relearn how to do those chords, and you had to learn how to loosen up a little bit and learn how to develop speed with hammer-ons and pull-offs. You know, as you progressed further, you realized you really didn't need to squeeze as hard as you did when you were a beginner. That is what I'm talking about. As a player, you're constantly evolving, and that's what I mean by that. When you don't have to think about a D chord when you play it anymore. You probably don't have to think of a pentatonic scale if you know it very well. Well, that's the goal. With all of these scales and all these chords and tunes, you should get to the point where you don't have to think about doing it. When you don't have to think about doing it, you know it. That's the key for that. And that's what number one is talking about. Proper physical mechanics of the guitar we will be talking about pretty soon after I mention these other notes. Number two, this one's very important. Speed does not come by forcing it with repetition. If you do this without the proper checks and balances in place, you could suffer an injury or worse. You can sustain permanent damage. I've seen a lot of musicians in music schools and professionals try to force things instead of trying to find the reason why they can't do certain things like playing fast. And they wind up hurting themselves. I want you to understand that if you're playing guitar and it hurts, don't do it. You're doing something wrong and you should seek a professional. That way that person can look at your hands and decide what needs to be done to take you to the next step. A video lesson's good. It's great actually, because you can see my hands. You can see my hands are relaxed, and I want you to be able to do the same. So once again, if you're playing something and it hurts, stop. If you're going to be working on something like speed, do it in short bursts, 10-15 minutes tops, and then leave the guitar alone. It's a very important thing to do, because you're going to have to learn how to relax. Most people have a lot of issues with right and left hand, which we'll be covering later on. Number three, when something doesn't come to you after a period of time, you must accept the fact that you're doing something wrong. And you must correct that bad habit in order to continue the progress further. That's what I mean. If you feel like you're topped out at 120 on the metronome and you want to get to 200 with 16th notes, you're doing something wrong, okay? And the only way to correct that is by stopping what you're doing and start thinking about, okay, what am I doing wrong? Am I playing too tight? Is my right hand too tense? Is my left hand too tense? Am I squeezing the guitar too hard? Is the action on my guitar too high? Is the guitar placed correctly on my body? All of those factors will take speed away from you, as you will see in the upcoming chapter. Number four, nothing surpasses having a qualified professional to look at and assess your hands and playing technique. A book or video is an important guide, but not a substitute for proper personal instruction. I once again underline this. It's great that you're learning on the internet. It's great that you're learning a lot of fabulous things. If you had a previous instructor go through the fundamentals and you understand and you don't play with pain or anything and you can continue your video lessons, great. But if you're one of those students who has pain or feels like he's not getting any faster, you're doing something wrong, and it's a good idea to kind of seek someone who knows what they're doing and kind of assess where you're at. Number 5, syncing both hands is a common problem in alternate picking, hybrid picking, and sweep picking. Therefore, one should practice legato speed first. If you concentrate your practice on that aspect of the one hand, left hand versus right hand, you can master the other quicker. So what I'm saying there in that little paragraph is I'm telling you that most people, they try to do everything when they practice, and that's wrong. You do little bits. That's the key to improving and getting better. So, for example, let's say you want to practice legato and you want to get faster. I'll take a shape. I'm just going to take a geometric shape. I'm not going to be playing a scale. So I'm going to take 1, 2, and 4. So there's my 1, 2, and 4. I'm going to try to be as relaxed as possible, and I'm going to try from there to get faster progressively. So there's my top speed, I guess. Okay? So then once I feel comfortable with that, then I say, oh, okay, well, let me try it on 2 strings. Do you see how relaxed my hand is? That's what you have to shoot for. You have to say, am I relaxed? Am I relaxed? Is my thumb relaxed? Is my hand relaxed? Is my right hand relaxed? All I'm doing is picking once for each hammer-on phrase. Then I would go with 3 strings. And I would go across the whole fingerboard to make sure, because your hand changes position, to make sure I'm completely relaxed, okay? So that would be, let's say, 1 speed practice session for me, okay? And I think that's where the problem lies. Most people try to do too much. So there's a perfect example. Then I would try another finger combination, let's say 1, 3, and 4. Okay. Okay. Then another finger combination, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then once I have those down, that's when I go to the next step and I start doing scales like that. Okay. Okay. So like that is the key to developing speed there, because you've developed that. Now once you got the legato speed, then you can start working on alternate picking. Then you can start working on hybrid after that, okay? So it's an evolutionary process as well. So first thing we're going to cover is going to be A.B. City's grooves.